Okay, all right. Hello, welcome to the 2025 Lowell High School Poetry Showcase. Thank you for coming. So if you don't know me, I'm Shelby Coe. I'm the poetry coach for the Compass Poetry Club here at Lowell High, and I'm an English teacher here. I teach sophomores, juniors, and seniors. I used to be in the freshman academy. So let's just get to it. So this year has been full of a lot of wins. We've been very, very fortunate. This year we do a big competition in Boston called the Right Here, Right Now, Speak Loud competition. And so they'll do a big team slam with all teams from all across New England. And we got first place. Yeah. And the really cool thing about that is, like, most of our team was brand new to slam, and so it was really, really amazing to see some of our veteran poets, get up there and help our new kids, and those new kids really dive in. We won Best Group Piece for Chicken, which you'll hear at the very end of our show. And our freshman, Preston, is going all the way to Madison, Wisconsin for a really big competition. It's like a national competition that some international people come for, called Brave New Voices, which is a huge deal. The other really cool things is there is another competition called Act So, which is run by the NAACP, so they celebrate Black youth who are going for arts, sciences, things like that. And so we had Faith, who isn't here tonight. She's a senior. She's at a fun senior thing. She won gold in writing. Preston, again, won gold in performance. And Anissa won silver in performance. So because Faith and Preston won gold, they're going to North Carolina this summer as well. So lots of trips, lots of opportunities. I'm really proud of all these kids for getting the most out of Poetry Club, getting on stage and sharing their voice, their truth, their stories. Their growth every year as poets and as young people make me so emotional. I'm a crier. And this year even more so, because in October we lost our mentor friend, and I kind of nicknamed him like the grandfather of youth poetry in Lowell, Douglas Bishop. If you didn't know Douglas, he was amazing. He didn't just teach kids to write poems. He taught them to speak their truth, to lead with love, and to see themselves as artists and leaders and as, honestly, like whole human beings. He called youth poetry a space of becoming, and that's exactly what he's built here in Lowell. Not as a stage for performance, but a room where young people and adults alike could become themselves fully, loudly, and unapologetically. And I know that I'll forever be grateful for the time I got to spend with him, the time the kids got to spend with him, and everything he's taught all of us. And so the kids have these beautiful shirts who were designed by our opening poet. Very cute. And so we kind of kept that mantra this year of like keeping it fresh for Douglas, and we wanted to pull out another win in his honor, and we did, like I said. So even when I get really excited about competition prep, because I do, these kids never fail to remind me that it's not just about the slamming or the winning. It's about what happens when young people are given the space to see each other, to be seen, and to create together. At the end of the day, it's about community showing up for each other, reminding us in the good and bad times that we have a place to belong right here together. So to my students, I hope you know how deeply appreciated and loved you are. As I always say, poetry will always be here for you, and I hope that you know you can always find home in our little family. You, whether you're showing me your first draft of a poem, or I'm tearing up at a performance at finals, or you're just offering support to someone else in the club or pulling me aside in the hall to say thank you, you never fail to make me incredibly proud and blessed to be a small part of your journey. I'm so thankful for the time, care, and heart you've poured into this club, because you absolutely have all made it what makes it so special, each and every one of you. So from our amazing student mentors to our newest members who jumped in with both feet, you've built something really special. And what I admire most is the love you show, not just as poets, but as people and as friends. I love you guys. So now that I've said all the heartfelt things, let's celebrate these amazing kids. Please give it up for the two all-time champions of Rainbow Six Siege, Jomar and Nick.
lost mine. Hold on. I'm starting. Who has who has ever heard of spoken word poetry before? Who has ever been to a poetry slam? Great. Whether you're new to this or not, we want to go over a couple of things before we perform.
We have a saying in our poetry community to keep in mind when we are writing, don't be nice, be necessary. Poetry is a way to really get things off of your chest, to share some real personal stories, and sometimes the topics are heavy.
Just like we want to keep LHS safe, a safe space, we want to especially keep this room a safe space for the next 2 hours. Poetry is about creating a dialogue and keeping it real. It's creating about, oh shoot. It's about creating a space where people might feel less alone, so we can keep it real and really listen to each other. Can I get a yeah, yeah?
Yeah! Oh, that was hard. All right, so another way to show your love and encouragement is active listening, which is something you've probably heard of in school. But for the next 2 hours, this isn't school. This is a performance. If you connect with something you like, if you connect with something that you like if you like what you hear, maybe you can tell the poet needs some encouragement. Let them know you hear them and that you're enjoying this. Give them some snaps. Okay, so next up, maybe someone just performed their heart out. Like, wow, that was amazing. Can we clap for them?
Beautiful. Great. I don't know where your head's been at this Friday, but mine's been a little scrambled, especially at the end of the year. Yours might be too maybe too crazy. Maybe you just need to hear a line in the poem where it really spoke to you, or there was something that you really needed to hear, and there's no real words for it. Fill the space with some sounds like oh no, this is your spit. This is your thing.
Just go.
Fill the space with some sound, like you just bit into a delicious grilled cheese. You ever just responded like or yes or wow? All right. Come on, man.
All right, so let's clap until our poets get to the stage. Keep it going. Tonight, the next poet up is our friend and our feature, Kes.
Thank you. That was awesome. Oh, wow. The light is bright. Oh, my God. You're all invisible. That's great. All right. So I'm Kes. I'm part of the Mill City Speaks team, and I've had the pleasure of watching these youth poets grow over the last couple years. They really inspire me every time I get to see them perform, so I'm really happy to be here tonight. I have a quick poem for you. It's called A Hoodie Drives a Bottle of Glitter Glue Over an International Border. The hoodie is a conspiracy theorist, but he likes to check his facts. The glitter glue is an optimist because he is far from home. Next to the glitter glue sits a cup of coffee, steaming and lidless. The hoodie tells the glitter glue that the government made up glitter, that glitter is a distraction from the war. The hoodie says, you don't know war like we do. Your government keeps sending weapons. It doesn't matter who's in charge. They're all the same. This is a pothole or a speed bump. The car bounces and the coffee sloshes up, and there is a moment where the glue and the cup realize they are crossing a border in the hoodie's white van. So the cup does not spill their coffee, but the whole car is filled with steam. The glue leans back in his seat. He thinks that the hoodie might be a little right, about the war and the weapons, but he has never been more aware that he is made of glitter. The glue looks out the window at the sun and worries about catching the light. The hoodie takes them to the forest. In the forest, they hike. The hoodie runs ahead and hides for the next few hours. The hoodie and the glue pretend that they are not playing hide and seek with each other. The hoodie likes to talk, but hates it when no one talks back. The glue likes to listen. They come across a cave. The hoodie says, "Are you scared? We can go around." His voice has a twinkle in it. "No way," says the glue, catching the light. The hoodie and the glue are playing. Out in the woods that neither of them call home, they stop pretending that they are not. Like little boys, they don't need to recognize each other to know each other as friends. The glue is still made of glitter and the hoodie still does not know, but there might be a glimmer in the way that they speak to each other. When their cheeks are red and the sun has started to set, the hoodie and the glitter glue and the cup of coffee eat a big meal together. The hoodie drives them back over the border, and for a second, it almost feels like they fixed something. Thank you.
Yeah, so one more round of applause for Kes. Yeah, so what I will tell you more about later, well, the kids will tell you more about later, is we're part of this organization called Lowell Poetry Wheel. And so they are 3 spokes. So Free Verse, which is like the youth part that helps support us and other schools in Lowell and around here. You have the Untitled Open Mic, which is the first and third Wednesdays of every month. Right now we're at Dragonfly Cafe, if you want to come out and see. A lot of the times, like the kids and I will go as well. And then we have the Mill City Speaks Slam team. And so this year, I'm on one of the representative teams, and then a lot of us are part of, and part of us are part of the Slam Collective. And so these lovely adults over here in Kess are part of that kind of family. And it's really beautiful to see how they show up and support the kids, and the kids learn from them. And so it's a really beautiful thing. So thank you to Kess for doing that, and thank you to them for coming, as always. And so we're going to start Act 1 with Nick.
Hi, everybody. Grandma says that birds are good luck. They're a way for our loved ones to reach us, to stay connected when they're gone. Mom didn't believe in superstitions. Her addiction didn't make her believe in much of anything, unless it was her next fix. Maybe that's why she was so destructive. The vase on the porch banister was more chicken than bird. I think it was trying to fly when she threw it against the floor, feathers ricocheting into glass shards surrounding my sister and I, 6 and 5. Broken bits scattering around like chickens with their heads cut off. I don't understand why she threw it. Why she would choose meth over her own kids, how she could just leave us at Grandma's house. Maybe birds are meant to be temporary. Maybe motherhood was meant to be temporary for her. My mom is a distant memory that flew south for the winter. The empty seat at my football games, the birthday card I never answered. Maybe her migration is my survival. So I wouldn't have to stay up late. So I wouldn't have to have another night sleeping in the back seat. So I wouldn't have to stay up late to see if she would come home. Sometimes I wonder if she would have stayed, if it would have been different. If she would have been clean, if my memories would have been too. What if the vase was never thrown? What if our family had never become broken? How us kids would have had a mom who cared enough to choose to be with them? I've learned that it takes strength to pick up the pieces, to adapt to the cold, to learn how to find warmth in Grandma's house. I don't know if I believe in superstitions, but I do believe that birds are signs, are reminders of what we choose to keep with us and who we choose to leave behind. You got that. Now I'm introducing Nellie and Lex.
Abuela's words vibrate in my chest, a hollow drum. I understand the rhythm,
But I am mute. My mother's native tongue is Spanish. She's deprived from syllables in her wording.
The word literally suddenly becomes
Literally. The place McDonald's then becomes
McDonald.
Now we promise. We know every single word in Spanish, but
We are too deprived from our native tongue. We try and grasp the meaning, the emotion. Our voices are a strangled silence.
in my heart, I am straight from the island of Puerto Rico.
The
water
water
enriched in our veins.
I feel the merengue beating with every pulse.
As I explain the exhilaration in my heart, the language a barrier from the life I am to pursue, this culture, un recuerdo.
I yearn to return to my roots, to the language I've never fully learned. This heritage, un regalo, I cannot fully grasp.
Un silencio that lingers, because here,
We are this funny, mispronounced phrase called
whitewashed.
I'm a prisoner of language. I'm mocked, dismissed.
Only because the language I am known for is one I cannot speak to the best of my ability.
As if the struggle is simple, I hear the voices.
Ay, nena, díselo ya.
The music in my pulse slips away, fading with every mispronounced word.
I do not wish for the water in my veins to evaporate into something I will never know. I refuse to let my children grow up as no sabo kids, ignorant to the culture that is in their blood, the blood that is on our flags.
The words swirl in my head, yet when I attempt to speak, they die before they are born.
My tongue so apparent to be known for Spanglish, my island slowly dying, knowing that the relationship is one-sided.
I'm sorry that I don't meet the requirements that you set up.
Cooking patelitos 24/7.
Forever listening to the king of bachata.
Or el conejito malo.
This is what we are known for.
But not we will die knowing.
Because two things for sure.
One thing for certain.
Nosotros somos Latinas. Thank you.
Now we're gonna introduce Preston.
When you were born of immigrants, you inherit their goals. Your motivation stems from craving their satisfaction, and you get two things called anxiety and depression. They only dare to wonder where that came from. You wear two flags and an inability to identify with either. You laugh. One of your countries is war-torn, and the other does not want you here. When asked why you're here, your parents say it's because of the opportunities. You wonder if the language barrier caused them to confuse oppression for opportunities. They are now seen as foreigners to both countries. Their American dreams turn to nightmares. You stare. When you're born of immigrants, there's a long staircase of expectations that you don't want to climb, but you do. When you near the top, you're all bloody kneecaps and twisted ankles, but the 10 seconds of praise you receive is substantial enough to last you a lifetime. Maybe that's the reason why you climb it again and again and again. Through your ancestors, you were free, but still battle for liberation in your own home. Your dreams a distorted reflection of your parents' success is divided. You do not audition for this part, but you play it. The thing is, it's hard to differentiate acting from reality. I apologize if I'm taking too long, but I want this poem to be perfect. I think I'm starting to get that immigrant mentality. When you hear of dead relatives, you wince. Their names a rare specimen found in funeral programs. Your parents' guilt echoes. You see it in the thousands of dollars they send back to a country they haven't visited in years. Or in the hours spent on the phone talking to relatives you don't know. If you listen closely, you could hear your parents' cries. Their pleas with God that their home will look the same way it did when they left all those years ago. My parents have been in this country for decades without obtaining a citizenship. Given the chance to, I'm sure they'll pass their test with flying colors. They display patriotism best after all. The red representing the blood shed and blisters formed, working all their lives for the same system that will always place them last. The white signifying their peaceful acceptance and surrender, but the blue lies in their hearts. The hope they still carry. They wish on those 50 stars that the broken promises made and things like the Star-Spangled Banner and the Great Pledge of Allegiance would actually be fulfilled one day. That the second they place their right hands on their beating hearts, that the rest of the world would see them in that same dimmed, outshined, but never put out light they see themselves in. When you were born an immigrant's child, you are loved. Your parents' motivation, a vast garden cultivated by your heart's deepest wants and desires, their bank accounts, your college fund, your happiness, their dying wish. Their lives continue for you. When you were born an immigrant child, you must not complain. And you must promise me when you feel at your lowest, you'll read this poem over again. Thank you. The next poem we have is Sarah.
I am the space between conversations, the silence between laughs, the afterthought in a room full of voices. I drift. Not unseen, but unnoticed. Not unheard of, but never truly listened to. A shadow that lingers on the edges, a whisper was swallowed by the noise. They say I belong, but belonging should feel heavier than air. It shouldn't feel like floating, untethered, weightless, forgettable. I exist in fragments, half a joke laughed at too late, half a truth twisted to fit someone else's story. They call me reliable, but what they mean is that I'm useful. I am convenient. I'm there until I am not, and even then, no one notices the space. I watch from the outside, scroll through highlight reels of moments I was never invited to, smile at memories that do not belong to me. They tell me next time, but next time never comes. At home, I'm the echo of expectations measured against siblings, cousins, classmates, a list of names I would never be. Held up to standards I never agreed to, they set the bar high. So high it disappears into the clouds and tell me reach it. And when I do, they nod. Never noticing the scrapes I have on my kneecaps, the bloody trail, just another goalpost moved. Then I don't, and they sigh. Disappointed. But they never asked if I wanted to climb. So I become tired. But tired is not an excuse. Not when they call me hardworking, when they admire my dedication. They don't see the sleepless nights, the weight of being everything they expect, the quiet cracking under the pressure. They see results, not the toll. They see success, not survival. They see me, but they don't look. So I wonder, what happens when I stop floating? When I stop nodding, not agreeing, when I say no, when I ask instead of always give? Will they finally see me or just the space I leave behind? Will they finally hear me or just the silence where my voice used to be? But in my perfect world, I would not be a floater. I would take up space, be loud without being called too much, be quiet without being called distance. I would be valued, not for my usefulness, but for existing, for breathing, for simply being. In my world, belonging is not borrowed, not a privilege handed out in halves, it's given. It's a right and it's a truth. No more invisible labor, no more expectations stacking bricks on my back, no more silent battles fought alone. In my world, success is not measured in exhaustion. Hard work is not a requirement to be worthy of love, and I'm just not seen. I'm understood. So I wonder, what happens when I stop floating? When I stand still, when I say no, when I ask instead of always giving? Will they finally see me or just the space I leave behind? Thank you. Now I'm going to be introducing Gabby.
I think of her during breakup songs because she was my first loving relationship. She was a friend, it was platonic, but that doesn't make it any less dishonest. Misinterpretation is still interpretation. And I interpreted her passive aggressiveness as tough love. I'd ignore the backhanded compliments and sly jabs in exchange for sleepovers and girl talk because laughing with her was a new type of breathing. Our oxygen intake in sync and our carbon emissions inevitable. The spark we had destined to burn out as we drained it of its fuel with every unsaid word. With every time her animosity and pride denied her of the privilege that is communication. So I allow my throat to sting as I spit the the gasoline that is my poetry because I refuse to permit ego and ignorance to take control of my relationships. I'd rather taste sweet honesty than the bitter cowardice that is rewarded with attention. She left me like Phoebe Bridgers, and I tried to be cool about it, but I couldn't pretend that being with her didn't feel like drowning, so I gasped for air and asked for an explanation, but I was in the wrong for the confrontation. Yet if she hadn't ghosted me in person, I wouldn't have known it was possible to haunt someone alive. I wouldn't have known what it was like to be put in a coffin and buried in the dirt without even knowing how I died. That's right, she never even gave me the grace of a reason, just expected acceptance when she spoke to everyone but me, because she preferred inventing my evils over admitting her own. But I know that she's still scared of her guitar, still scared of striking chords she doesn't want to hear, yet the guitar still strings and the gas still stings because she can't lie to herself the way she lied to me. Our oxygen intake doesn't seem so in sync anymore, does it? Words she didn't say face to face got said back to back, because whispers that go round and round carry so much more gas than our laughter ever could, and fuel more fires than our love ever would, because there is oxygen in the tears that brew but don't fall when I think of her during breakup songs. Next up, we have Marion Preston.
Did you do your homework? Don't you know that other people are paying attention to you?
This country relies on the obedience of people like you.
Your ignorance fuels us. Your naivety is the reason why our fire burns. Did you even study the material?
Maybe look over it twice.
We know how you're easily distracted. In this country, you're going to have to learn how to stay in order, or they'll do it for you. You're under our jurisdiction here.
Which means you have to do exactly as we say. If we tell you to jump, then jump.
If we want you to listen, best believe you're
listening. If we're telling you to open your eyes and examine your surroundings,
you better be prepared for what you might see.
Like the addicts you see lipping on the streets, walking textbooks of what you're not supposed to be.
Address the dreams that they force you to let go of, the kind retold in fantasy novels. Imagine yourself in a distant place far away from the wreckage.
Little did you know you carry it with you. Like tattoos etched into your skin.
You think we didn't notice that? Black,
impoverished,
we only want to see you win. This is for your own good.
Success is as valuable as life.
Only those who play the game we set up can achieve it. So you may one day live to eat the fruits of your labor.
But only if you kept your tongue and paid attention to the lesson. Speaking of that, are you?
What was the last thing we said? If you're not interested in being here, you can leave through our doors decorated with barbed wire and risk. Twist the knob of misfortune. Step into what your life will be if you refuse to abide.
Homicide.
Suicide.
Scattered across the map of this nation.
Notice how only the victims who fall to our game are held responsible for their own tragic departures.
Whether or not they chose to play.
Whether or not they knew. This is why you have to be attentive at all times. So you don't become another number on
another statistic.
Trust us, we only want what's best for you after all.
This is exactly what happens if you drift from what we told you. Like we said,
this country relies on the ignorance of people like us, on the labor of the captives that came before us, because we inherited their metal chains
around our wrists, our necks,
our mouths.
This game doesn't allow us to speak our mind without becoming another statistic.
Another error in the system.
Our tongues are as tied as those slaves were on those ships.
Watch what you say. Hold your tongue and pay attention to your ancestry.
Your complexion will hold you back from winning this rigged game.
Are you listening to what we're saying? In this country, you cannot be distracted. Your complexion will hold you back from winning anything.
Even if we abide by the rule book, follow the instructions, and play the game.
We will always remain a checkpoint and not an achievement. Our history will follow us through our footsteps. It's who we are and all we'll ever amount to.
Wake up if you believe we're as equal as the people who stand on the opposite side of that table.
Wake up if you think that having one black president is a call for jubilation. Wake up
if you suppose that young black men and women losing their lives in the same way is just a coincidence, or if you think we're even considered players in these games.
And not the entertainment itself. Pay attention to your surroundings, because in this world you have to rely on your observation to survive.
You need to know the difference between red, white, and blue headlights and flags.
Your intuition is your advantage. Didn't you know that? Did you even do your homework?
apologize. I'm literally crying over here. Okay, so the mic is really hot. So we're gonna let it cool down for about 10 minutes. If you need to use the bathroom, you wanna chit chat. Our lovely Lex made some cookies if you wanna buy any. All proceeds are gonna go to, funding us for next year. So take about like 10 minutes, do what you need to do, and then we're gonna finish off with a couple more poems and some awards. Thank you.
All right. Hi, I'm Preston Toro. I'm a freshman at Lowell High School.
And I'm Safford Feliciano, and I'm a sophomore.
Real quick shout out to Joe for helping us prepare for our poetry festival in Boston and count for all of her help this year. Compass and the 21st Century Grant through DESE for funding us in everything that we do. It's so important that the arts get our love. Just look at what happens when you let these kids grow. But unfortunately, we do need money to keep doing awesome events like these. We had a lot of teachers this year that financially sponsored each of us to compete and stay overnight in Boston this year. Thank you so much. It meant the world to us. Shout out to the Lowell Poetry Wheel for letting us take over the venue at Coffee and Cotton when we needed some extra practice and love, and the adults from the Mill City Speaks team for coming out and showing up when we needed the extra eyes and hands. We do have some amazingly tasty baked goods just waiting to be devoured, so support us directly by getting something. Now on to the raffle.
All right, so we have a cash prize of $25. So let's pick a ticket. Let's do a little drum roll. We got 6258475.
Check your tickets, see if the numbers match.
6258475.
Okay, so now on to Sarah to open the second half of the show.
I love poetry.
When I was 6, I learned that food was a crime. Your eyes weighed my plate like a judge at a trial, your voices sugared with fake concerns. Maybe just one scoop, sweetie. Should you really be eating that? Like hunger was a habit I needed to break. Love dressed up as concern, but it never felt like love. I ate is when I realized I didn't fit in. I towered over my classmates, hips wide, too heavy for piggyback rides. The boys called me big boned, like my skeleton was the problem, like my body was a blueprint someone messed up. By 10 is when I stopped playing on the swings. Because when I sat, the chains groaned and laughter snapped at my back like a whip. Teachers said I had a strong build, but strong never felt this heavy. You decided on basketball for me, because what else was a girl like me good for? But brute force and heavy lifting. You put strength on my shoulders like a yoke, called it potential, but I knew better. I knew I was being placed where I wouldn't be seen, only used. At 12, I wanted what they had. Thin wrists, soft steps, hard jawline, the ability to slip through cracks instead of filling them. I wanted to disappear just enough to stop being a she and become a her. At 14, I learned the word discipline and let it sink into my skin like hunger. I swallowed envy like a meal. Watched the girls who never had to second guess their bodies, who never had to hear the word big like a curse spat on their direction. I ran until my lungs burned, ate air and called it discipline, skipped meals, counted steps, wished my body would fold in on itself like an apology. At 15, I became my own punishment. Starved myself like a sinner, asking for redemption, woke up dizzy, head pounding, but still refused breakfast. I called it control. I called it willpower. But really, it was war. My fist bruised my ribs where the fat still clung. My knuckleless kissed my stomach with anger, tears that would soak and replace for food, as if pain could carve me smaller, as if suffering could make me worth something. 16, and the mirror wasn't just glass anymore. It was a judge, a jury, and a sentence. It whispered just as you always did, too much carbs and sugar. Check the calories. Exercise. But tell me, was I ever enough for you, or was I just to think it to be fixed? I pulled at my clothes like they were disguises, trying to carve a smaller version of myself, with nothing but self-hate and an empty stomach. But tell me, if I disappear, who would carry the weight of their words? Because that weight was never mine to hold. You built me like a burden, and now you don't get to be shocked when I walk and carry like I own one. Next, we have Jomar.
Hey God, it's me. Your son who tries his best to push through the trauma that my parents left behind, and my friends who stab knives behind my back, each one going deeper and deeper. But the love you send me heals my wounds, but forever scarred, leaving behind memories I wish I could forget. Please send me strength I need to keep going. Hey God, it's me again. I got one question. What was I made for? Was I made to help people who are in a dark place, trying to show them the light you give? Or was I made to be used whenever someone needs something from me? Hey God, I need your help. I feel broken. It's getting hard to breathe. It felt like I've been shot again, and again, until the point where I just pass out. And I wake up to a world where there's only pain. People treat me like I'm just a rock on the road and only use me when they need something. But when I need something, they shoot me down and say, do it yourself. I just need a little bit more strength to keep going. Hey God, I'm losing it. I don't know what to do. Why are these people so cruel? All I wanted to do was help. You know what? I'm done. I'm done letting them throw me around. They want to treat me like trash. They can sit in the darkness with all their pain. How can you call them your children if they treat their brothers and sisters like trash? Hey God, I know it's been a while since that heartbreaking of a prayer. I was just so furious with myself for letting them burn the foundation I stand on. I understand now it was just the devil whispering in their ears. So God, I ask, please forgive me and help me guide the people who are being misled and point them in the right direction. Amen. Up next, we have the champion, Preston!
Watch as she perches, her claws digging firmly into the branch she's always longed to grasp the earth. Watch as her children chirp, often mistaken for cries or yells or pleas for help. These days they have been more quiet than ever, their bodies vacant. They've learned the art of silence because no matter the hurt or anger they feel for their mother, she still feeds them. They tilt their heads back in efforts to pursue consume regurgitated food, free their ears to listen to regurgitated insults, turn into regurgitated arguments until they no longer chirp but scream, and no longer fly but crawl and hurry out of the nest they once thought sufficed as home. They know mother's tricks too well. They know broken twigs cannot serve as habitat, and they have accepted that chicks raised on broken foundation can never really heal. Then again, healing is not a word of familiarity. Their mother called this phenomenon natural consequence. If as chicks they never learn to obey, they'll never learn how to fly, meaning that they'll never migrate, so essentially they're trapped, numbed, zombies roaming this earth, searching for the love they knew as privilege. She rebukes them. She did not raise zombies, she raised chicks. Thank you. Next up, we have Mary.
Sheep are slaughtered for their wool. Their eyeballs gouged, flesh stripped, hooves sliced off, and discarded for the desire of mankind. Grouped together in herds, isolation found, in community, no matter how alone they felt. How deeply they wanted to live, how deeply they wanted to dwell. The value of their wool will always be bigger than the value of their lives. Their shepherd pretends to care about them, to be their guidance and their home, their comfort and their guardian. They were gullible, stupid enough to even consider selling pieces of their body for residence. Their shepherd took advantage of them and their vulnerability. Their innocence gone in the hands of him present because they mistook his marketing for mellowness. His grin of greed to be one of grace and simplicity, his manipulative tactics to tear at them and lure them into barns one by one until they were a pile of bones and organs. One by one, their bodies used as testing in labs, used as experiments on hospital grounds. One by one, as you buy a new fur coat and your fuzzy rugs are added to your Amazon wish list, the sheep were ignorant. They knew more than they saw. They weren't domestic creatures. They could have ran while they had the chance. They should have ran while they had the chance. But now Shepherd says they did this to themselves, that they are the creators of their own destiny. But how could that be when that was decided for them? The black sheep realized that they were not captured from Africa, but the wild and enslaved for over 400 years, that they were to be watched in glass boxes and fenced green spaces and not heard. Shepherd tells them to get into their groups. They push and they shove because that was the way they were raised. That was their system of living, if you could even consider them alive after all the trauma they endured, because I know they wish the opposite. They are identical yet so different, each other a reflection of their worst qualities, the ones they wish to hide, the ones they like to bleed that nobody saw but knew everybody observed, so to distract themselves from the noise going on in their heads, they created their own. Their lungs decomposing from their screams, minds corrupted but a perfect use to create a cure for unsolved medical mysteries, as lullabies to calm your nerves and edge you towards slumber, because the thought of sheep jumping over borders in order to survive should be framed. Does that sound familiar? We are the sheeps roaming the pasture, fighting over scraps of food and money, the leftover sheep that were pushed away from the Garden of Eden and society. Sheep scatter when danger is present and I flee. When I see crisis, I am the lost sheep roaming the pasture, the wandering animal who people deem a lost cause because I lost hope in myself, in the world that failed me, in the world that was supposed to protect us, the world that forced us to live without our permission, so we try. Only to be beat down again and again, only to be used again and again. This poem isn't about sheep. Next up is Sapphire.
Looking through the bathroom mirror with a deep pain in my eyes, as only a vision is seen. Through the glass, there's a world that isn't real, but it has to be. A world where the sun shines on my face, creating a warm, gentle feeling. The view of the sunset on the beach reflecting through my eyes. The smell of salt and sand mixes through my nose, not intense, but calming. The heavy weight lifts off my chest, all the stress moving with the waves, slowly leaving my mind and body. All the exams and tests that once existed leave. Suddenly I realize I don't hate it here. No more coming home to parents arguing about their work because they're stressed. No more juggling between homework and sleep. No more deciding which friends should be kept or which should be let go. It's just me, my own thoughts, my own self. I'm finally free now, breathing in the fresh, salty air as the wind gently blows through my hair. The voices from people around are finally silenced. Only the gentle survives here. I romanticize a quiet life and I get lost on purpose. My brain finally knows what it feels like to be at peace. I close my eyes. I know this isn't reality. I know that this isn't real, but I need it to be. How do I become myself if I don't? I open my eyes. The mix of pink, orange, yellow, and purple fills the sky. Golden hour. The hour where you realize how beautiful life is. Without the constant bombarding of drama, studying, and the expectation of one's attention span that lasts for about an hour. I hear a crack. The mirror is about to break. This perfect place will soon just be a figment of my imagination. I stare into the sunset. One last wave gently crashes on the shore. The mirror breaks, and I'm staring at a hole in the wall. I'm back to reality, the place that made me feel worthless. Everything in my life comes rushing back into my mind. School, anxiety, the tiredness of everything and everyone. The only thing I can say is, I hate it here. Thank you. Next, let's welcome Gabby.
My mom used to sing me a song in Portuguese every night. It was about a little girl who didn't know how to pray, but wanted to tell God she loved him, because her love for God transcended all forms of communication. Every time my mom would sing, "I don't know how to pray," I'd tell her, "But Mama, I do know how to pray." So she changed the lyric and ended each night with a prayer. But as I got older and she stopped singing the song, I realized it was right. I don't know how to pray. I mean, I'd start with "Dear God" and end with "Amen," but I'm not too sure he actually read the letters that I sent. I'd cry and plead for my Lord to hear me, but he never came to wipe away my tears. In high school, I realized that there's no room for toleration in a fake Christian heart, so I told everyone that I was straight, because if God can't accept a girl who is the embodiment of sins, who can? I had already sewn my lips with the threads of denial to stop myself from saying the wrong thing. I thought I'd find reassurance in him if I'd just respect him, follow him blindly, because blind faith proves devotion. But what happened to the little girl who was devoted only to be labeled a sinner? The dirt on the bottom of thy neighbor's shoe, to be known as demon before seen as daughter. So if we're being honest, as he asks us to be, your Lord and Savior never saved me. So please, give me another Bible verse to read and tell me lies I've heard before. Tell me he'll show up when I least expect it. Tell me that he works in mysterious ways. Tell me that he'll save me from the trenches, that I'm his strongest soldier, fighting his toughest battle. I don't remember enlisting in war. When I put down my sword and pick up my pen, I capitalize the G, writing his name. Because despite all the letters that have gone unread, my mother's melody remains the same. Mãezinha do céu, eu não sei rezar, mas eu quero dizer que eu quero te amar. Next up, we have Mary, Preston, and Sarah.
Did you know that there's chickens in Lowell?
can't say that here.
Don't tell me to shut up. They're everywhere.
In your schools,
Your neighborhoods.
your friends. How do we explain the feathers caught in the wind?
The cluck that echoes in the alley.
The nest tucked in the shadows that you pretend not to see. They're not supposed to be here.
The law says so, but you forget the law was made by those who never howled the soil.
Never felt the hunger.
Never ran from a border with the weight of children on their shoulders. You think you can take them?
Erase them?
The farmers may start to roll in, but the chickens are still here, hiding in the cracks.
Under the fences.
Under your
They
noses.
say we're not allowed to keep chickens in Lowell.
But we use and sell their eggs.
Strip them of their feathers, cut off their wings and consume them whole without an ounce of regret.
An ounce of remorse.
You pluck their feathers, pick their skin to see if they'll still comply.
Pick at their cages, their homes, and run through their supply. Don't you know we wouldn't have eggs without chickens? Don't you know those chickens are mothers too? Sons,
Daughters.
We need to stay informed on the truth that really lies.
because there are chickens in Lowell.
Still, we depict them as machines, take credibility for their labor and lock them up.
You say they don't belong.
But what does belonging mean?
Robbing them of their right and dignity.
Making sure they know they're not welcome and calling them less human.
You mean less chicken?
Even if they added beauty to our acres of lone land.
Even if they built us capitals and landmarks.
Even if they return to their cages with their backs bent and necks curved in place, we need to remind them that their stay is not permanent.
That they're only as valuable as the prices of their eggs.
And we can so easily release them back into the wild.
Where the sun doesn't scorch their feathers as intensely.
Where they don't face prejudice.
Where they don't get the wonders of cages and tightly fenced-in spaces.
They say we can't keep chickens in Lowell.
They're afraid of the noise.
The waste.
The responsibility it takes to handle them.
So we lock them up in steel cages.
And thrive off their labor.
The ones who fed our nation remain buried in their sweat and regretfulness.
We continue to take their eggs until they lay
When
barren.
we're trapped into their coops and threaten to come inside.
Restrain them with silver tags so those outside the coop know they're going to the slaughterhouse.
Chickens live in herds but still battle loneliness.
They have learned to live in fear and to adapt to the feeling of their work gone unnoticed.
Roosters don't crow each morning to wake us up,
But as a cry.
a prayer only they would understand,
A plea that we have misinterpreted.
one that we take for granted.
We use our chickens to our advantage, forgetting that they have lives of their own.
They say chickens aren't allowed in Lowell, but didn't you know they're everywhere? Oh.
Now we want to introduce the poetry team.
Everyone who's on the team, please get up.
Hey guys. Hey friends. So obviously we're gonna have to give a really big shout out to Mrs. Co. Can Miss Co please come up? We're gonna give her a wonderful prize. It's not cash, but it's Thank you. Guys, can we have this real quick, please? Are we doing it? Yes. You guys are so cute. Can we get one like really, really big, like huge round of applause, please? Ready? 3? Oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, stay here because I have to give you things.
For me, you should have Burrow.
Okay. So come on up.
Hi, Nathan.
Hello, sir.
So for those of you who don't know who this is my husband Nathan.
My best friend.
So for those of you who don't know Nathan, he's a sub here at Lowell High and in the district. But I didn't meet him here. I met him at Disney World, but that's a different story. Wait. Ramps and stairs and running. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, it's been really, really nice. He kind of gets stuck here after school with us, but I don't really think he's stuck. I think he loves it, right, guys?
No, he's forced. No, he's forced. He gets paid to be here.
No, he does not. So, it's really, really nice to see like how much you love the kids and the kids love you. I would hope so. But like at this point, so I just want to say I don't have flowers for him, but I'll give him a hug later. Thank you, Nathan, for everything that you do for us and all the extra help and the support and distracting Nick and Jomar by talking about video games.
Thank you.
So.
We love you, Nathan.
So, I do this thing every year where I do like little awards, and Miss Coe is gonna go off script, which means it's gonna get emotional probably.
Improv. I like it.
Improv. Okay, let's see here. So I do a couple awards every year. So I'm holding a lot of things. So you're gonna see things. A gentleman. So.
That's why you deserve a hug.
So I usually give flowers, but our friend Douglas used to give out chocolate. And so we want to kind of honor him by doing chocolate as well, because the boys don't always like the flowers.
I appreciated my
I would love a flower.
I gave them to my grandma, by the way.
Okay.
My mama deserves it.
Okay, so
It's actually UK chocolate too.
it is UK chocolate. Okay, Cadbury, so it's the good stuff. All right, so the first award that I want to give is for most improved. I want to give this to a poet who was really, really afraid to perform this year. And honestly, I had her for English last year. It's Lex. I had this one for English last year, and I was like, please, please, please join the poetry club. And she was like, yeah, sure. And then she didn't join until this year. But you know what? Like, we've got her, and we love her. She walked in. We used to do these things called kickbacks, which were like a free verse little poetry wheel thing. This is Joe, who helped us out this year. And she showed up with a poem, and she was like, oh, like, I don't know if I can read this. She reads the poem, and I'm like, where did this come from? And then you just did the things, and I'm really, really proud of you for like putting yourself out there and like doing the thing. She was a little nervous to be on stage this year, and so she trusted Nellie to help her, and they turned that poem into their duo this year. So like community, talent, taking risks, finding your voice. So like I'm really proud of you. I love you so much. Here's another hug. Okay. Here's some flowers. I think we have enough chocolate. What do you mean? It's for the awards people. It's for the awards people. Okay, the next award. Last year, I'm just gonna say we called it last year because it sounds better. So, I'm sorry. I don't follow directions. We're poets. We do what we think is right in the moment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Alil, who's recording for us, my other student who's amazing. Okay, the next award is like our like rising voice, kind of like our newbie poet. So this is someone I'm really excited to work with in the future. We try to like highlight, one of the new people who really jumped in. This poet, I also was like, please join Poetry Club. And then they were like, okay, Miss Coe. And then I waited like 2 years. And then they came up to me and was like, hey, so I'm not doing football anymore, so I could do poetry. and so my buddy Jomar, always the light in the room, total goofball. If you know him, you know that.
Miss Boots knows it.
And so he's so lovable, and like him and Nick fight all the time over that video game I mentioned earlier, but like in the best way. And so the reason I wanted to give Jomar this award was because at our Boston competition this year, you can tell we're a giant club. Usually a team is like 4, 5, maybe 6 people tops, right? And so I have like a gaggle of children. So when other teams like drop players or like something happens or whatever, they're like, hey, Shelby, do you have extra kids? And I'm like, I have all the extra kids. Like, what would you like? And so I wanted Joe Mar to like have some performance experience, and he was like super down. And so he competed with Port Veritas of Portland, Maine this year, and he made it to finals against us. It was so awesome. So I'm really proud of you for like jumping in, taking the risk, like getting the whole community thing. We love you, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Chocolate and flowers. So there's like 2 in a bag, so make sure you, yeah. You got it? So cute. I love it. All right, so our next one is most prolific. So I wanted to do this because we have not one, but 2 poets who have put so much work into writing this year. Like at every turn, it was like, I have a new poem, or I'm working on this, and then I'm working on this. And so I was just blown away. I think we all were, by Preston and Mary, for all their work this year. And these kids are like crazy. They're freshmen. Like, please. So I'm just so proud, and we're so grateful to have you. Like, honestly, you guys put so much work into so many of the team pieces, and we're such like a light and a help to other people. And so thank you for everything you did this year. I know your schedules are crazy, and we really appreciate you, and we're so proud. So hugs. Here you go. And flowers. Okay. I'm gonna do the one I was gonna do next, and then I'm gonna save one for someone who's here. So this next award goes to someone who is not here right now. She's actually a senior. So, so we've talked a lot about our dear friend Douglas and how inspirational he was, and like how much of a light he was. And Faith, who was originally in that chicken poem, she like really lives that vision. She's mentored like a lot of new poets. A lot of these kids, raise your hand if you were from LCCPS, kind of recruited by Faith, in a sense. I know you weren't really, but like, it's like half the club. And so the way that she makes connections and like really builds community is amazing, and I'm so grateful for her and all that she does for the club. She actually wants to go to school to be in creative writing at MCC, and she is hoping to be an English teacher, which makes me want to cry. That's the theme of tonight. Ms. Coe is crying constantly. But like, she gets up on the mic, and when she starts speaking, you just listen. Like, the way she commands a room in such like a grounding way is so special. And so we just know that Douglas is really close to her, and I know that he would be really proud. So the Douglas Bishop Award is for Faith. So, and we saw her earlier, and we gave her a hug and all the things, so she knows. So the last award that I want to give is Most Dedicated. So I want to give this award to someone who made me cry tonight. Come on now. She's like, oh boy. So Sarah, thank you for everything. So Sarah, like she does ROTC and things like that, but like you're at every meeting. Like, you want to be there, you put the work in, like, your growth is, like, amazing. I'm so proud of you, and so I can't wait to see what you do next year. And the way you filled in for chicken was like, what? You did a great job tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, and I have, it's not quite an award. But it didn't feel right to do this without thanking someone else. And so I want to thank Nellie. So, don't cry. Cry later. Okay. So honestly, like, I could not run this club without this girl. Like, I could not. Like, I mean that. And so, you know. And so, I'll have to figure it out because she's graduating next year, but that's different. So, Nellie, like, my prep for the teachers in the room, my prep is the same time she, like, goes down the stairs, so we'll walk together, and I'll be like, poetry, and what should we do? And this is the lineup, and what do you think? And, like, this girl is just, she's so patient with me, and, you know, I've known her since she was pretty young. She was in one of my first groups of students. And so, just thank you for everything you do. There's a million things I could say, but we'd be up here a long time. I love you. Thank you. All right. That's it. Thank you guys for coming. All the love.
I just want to say one more thing, completely off script. Can we get one more big shout out for Miss Cole, please? She tries her best. She tries her best so many times. She was very stressed in Boston, but she's strong, you know? Like, she's emotionally strong, I'm not. I would honestly punch somebody, honestly. But she kept, I would be honest, she kept her composure. She was patient with each and every one of us, and she helped me through a lot, especially my freshman year when I wasn't doing so great. So, one more shout out.
Okay, now that's really it. Love you all. Thank you. Okay.
Do you want to give it to anyone else?
Yeah. Well, one's for Faith. Who didn't get one? Do we have extra chocolate?